Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News. My name is John Yaku. On the headlines, President Buhari writes Senate seeks reimbursement of 10.4 billion naira to Plateau and Borno State.
The committee reviewed the documents submitted and carried out physical inspections.
Plus, House of Representatives condemns call for interim government in Nigeria.
Nigerians must have the appropriate democratic temper in order to be able to succeed.
President Muhammadu Buhari has taken the reimbursement of 6.6 billion naira to Plateau and 3.8 billion naira to Borno for federal government road projects executed by the states. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the president also sought Senate consideration of Nigerian Data Protection Bill as well as the Nigerian Police Force College and Training Schools establishment bills.
67 days to the end of the Ninth Assembly. The legislators are putting finishing touches to pending issues, but also paying considerable attention to new ones. Plenary took off with 4 executive communications, which include reimbursement of funds to Plateau and Borno states.
The Senate may wish to be informed that the Federal Executive Council (FEC) at its meeting of 1st February 2023 approved the reimbursement of the sum of 6,769,470 naira 99 kobo to Plateau State Government and the sum of 3,084,769,393 naira 63 kobo to Borno State Government through the issuance of promissory notes in respect of federal road projects executed by the states.
The president also sought the confirmation of Abdul Abubakar for reappointment as non-executive director of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a second and final term.
Confirmation of appointment of non-executive director of the Central Bank of Nigeria. In accordance with the provisions of Section 10, subsection 3A of the Central Bank of Nigeria Civil Establishment Act 2007, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Mr. Abdul Abubakar as non-executive director of Central Bank of Nigeria for a second and final term.
Senate rescinded its decision on the 2016-2018 federal government external borrowing plan and changed the financier from China Exim Bank to China Development Bank and approved the conditions provided in the harmonized term sheet.
Communication from the Federal Ministry of Finance requesting approval of the modifications to the financing proposal for the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project, that is Kaduna to Kano segment.
The issue is that was any disbursement made out of this $22.7 million? We need to know.
It approved the conference report on the Nigeria Peace Corps Bill.
Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I forward herewith the Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution Establishment (ETC) Bill 2023 for passage by the Senate. The Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution Establishment (ETC) Bill 2023 seeks to provide a comprehensive legal and institutional framework for the establishment of the Nigeria Police Force College, Training School and Institution for the provision of specialized training to police officers in the field of policing and law enforcement in order to enhance their performance in accordance with the provisions of the Nigeria Police Act. While hoping that the Senate will, in the usual expeditious manner, consider the bill for passage, please accept the Single Senate President the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
The report of its Committee on Power, which carried out investigative hearing on the ongoing bid to concession the 700 megawatt Zungeru hydroelectric power plant, which recommended the suspension of the bid process till after the completion of the project.
The BP be advised to keep to the commitment made before the committee to concession the power plant only after it has been completed, tested and commissioned.
The Broadcasting Practitioners Establishment Bill passed first reading. Senate urged the federal government to take over and ensure the burial of former President of the Senate, Joseph Wayas, who died in November 2021, as soon as possible and to immortalize him. It also paid tribute to the wife of the Chief Whip of the Senate, Ifeoma Kalu, who died over the weekend. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo NTA News.
The House of Representatives has passed a resolution condemning in strong terms the call for an interim government in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the House members described the plot as unconstitutional and undemocratic.
The issue raised by Representative Uime Idem made reference to the March 29, 2023 warning issued by the Department of State Services, alleging that some individuals are plotting to install an interim government. House members urged security agencies to remain on alert.
The people that are making this call, I see them as the enemies of this country. These people don't have the interest of this country. We are talking of election being keenly contested, won, declared, and yet we are contemplating as to the election which has been declared.
Nigerians must have the appropriate democratic temper in order to be able to succeed in our practice of democracy.
For those that have lost out, Nigerians have the characteristics when they lose out, they want things to be taken back to the melting pot so that everybody will put his spoon and try his luck.
I personally want to commend the DSS for coming out to alert us that something was in the office. It is now our duty to take it from there.
Nigeria is bigger than one man. Nigeria is bigger than individuals. You must have a country for you to rule.
Also supported was the appeal to beef up security and enhance screening of passengers at airports as moved by Representative Olajide Jimoh. 10 bills were read for the third time and passed, among which is the Electric Power Sector Reform Bill. It seeks the implementation and coordination of rural electrification for improved service delivery. The Deputy Speaker had, at the commencement of plenary, brought to the notice of members 3 presidential communication seeking approval to establish Nigerian Data Protection Commission, the Nigeria Police Force Training College, and reimbursements to Borno and Plateau states for construction of federal roads.
I wish to request the House of Representatives to kindly consider and approve through resolutions the reimbursement through the issuance of promissory notes.
Plenary approved for the second reading of National Social Investment Program Bill for the establishment of National Social Investment Program Agency to empower and assist the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Members of the newly formed coalition of House of Representative members elect from the opposition political parties have expressed their commitment to a united 10th National Assembly that will be vibrant for better Nigeria. This came to the fore at the inaugural meeting of the Minority Caucus held in Abuja. Mohammed Rabi Ali reports.
This is the slogan of the Minority Caucus, who are meeting for the first time as House of Representatives members-elect from 7 different political parties. These include the PDP, NNPP, LP, ADC, YPP, ABGA, and the SDP. Their motive is to unite members of the House of Representatives and come with a common front in changing the narratives of the 10th National Assembly for better legislation.
We want to ensure that the minorities come together, strengthen and deepen democracy, and monopolize the strength in numbers so that we can be able to play our role as opposition parties in the 10th Assembly.
We came together to be united, to also see how we can do to help this country. As I earlier said a few days ago, National Assembly is an arm of government. We as lawmakers, we are ready to work for the country. We are ready to ensure that every bill that will change the life of a common man get the light of the day in the Assembly. But we will also appreciate if the executive will allow the lawmakers to enjoy the independence, and also we will not interfere with the executive affairs by God's grace.
I believe that with our numbers, with our strength, and with our doggedness to achieve our common goal and purpose, which is to provide leadership within the National Assembly that will protect our democratic values. I believe we can achieve that. I believe that each one of us seated here has a role to play.
Let's continue the way we've started today. We will continue to put in our best to see that everybody, every single member of this caucus is carried along.
We'll be watching and see how this alliance goes, because with 34 members of Labour Party, it depends who will call the shot when the time comes if there is no trust.
It is true that our brothers from PDP, they have greater number, but I like the spirit they are carrying every other members of other political parties along for us to form this greater majority. I'm very much aware that there are so many positions that will go to minority parties at the National Assembly.
Opposition members-elect unanimously agreed to work together with the executive arm of government to ensure equity and fairness in the discharge of the national mandate. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
For Nigeria to avoid global backlash and waste of huge resources that come with corruption, there must be a collective effort to strengthen mechanisms towards sustaining the fight against the menace. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, stated this at a public hearing held to amend Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act. Correspondent Tayo Bushala reports.
The focus of the amendment to the Principal Act of the EFCC is to alter the requirements for the appointment of its chairman and security of tenure in line with the global best practices.
He is seeking to strengthen this important mechanism for fighting corruption. We are growing our ability to detect, prosecute, and deter, which are the ideal processes for fighting this malaise.
The purpose of this public hearing is to provide an open forum for all stakeholders to express their views and opinions on the proposed amendment.
It is a simple amendment of the two sections, which is intended to bring about a fundamental impact on professionalization of the Commission and guarantee the safety and security of tenure for the headship of the Commission.
Amendments sought in the Principal Act received the support of similar agencies with EFCC and other concerned bodies.
Because for you to fight corruption as a chairman of EFCC, you have two fights before you. The fight against corruption itself generally, and the fight against corruption fighting back.
If the appointment of the chairman must be confirmed by the Senate, then its removal too must be confirmed as well by the Senate. So we are totally in support, sir.
When the amendment finally becomes Act of Parliament, appointment of future EFCC chairman will be limited to the staff of the Commission from the rank of Assistant Commander. From the National Assembly, Dayo Ogunshola, NTA News.
And still to come, ECOWAS Parliament commence election conduct in Nigeria. Do stay tuned.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back. The former Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, Abok Nuhu Ayuba, who was impeached by 8 members, has resumed plenary with 9 members after a High Court judgment in Jos. Ruth Joseph Hoke reports.
It could be recalled that in October 2021, Aboknuhu Ayuba of the PDP was impeached as Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. About 18 months after, a Plateau State High Court sovereign in Jos, presided over by Justice Nafisa Musa, ordered the reinstatement of the former Speaker, Aboknuhu Ayuba. Following the judgment delivered on Monday, 3rd April 2023, Aboknuhu Ayuba took over his position as the Speaker of the 9th Assembly in Plateau State. Earlier, and in a swift reaction on Monday, 3rd April, the Chairman House Committee on Information, Nalong Daniel, said the House is not aware of any court judgment as they have not been served with any.
Still have the right to appeal the matter. So we cannot have two captains in a ship.
Speaking to journalists in his office on Tuesday morning, the reinstated Speaker commended Monday's judgment as fair and realistic, noting that it is in line with the rule of law.
We have resumed our duty here in the State House of Assembly, and we are assuring you that we are going to discharge our duty without any fear or favor.
Abok assured the citizens that he will discharge his responsibilities in accordance with the Constitution. Also on Tuesday at the chambers of the Plateau State House of Assembly, 9 members held plenary where Listic Nambo, representing Langton North, moved for the adoption of bill for a law to establish Plateau State Social Investment Program and other matters, where the bill passed the first, second, and third reading. Aboknuhu Ayuba presided over the sitting. The Plateau State House of Assembly has 21 members. Only 9 members sat on Tuesday, with 5 PDP members, 3 APC, and 1 Labour Party member. The House adjourned to reconvene on another legislative date. In Jos, Ruth Stephen Hockey, NTA News.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies is partnering the UN Women on scientific approach to gender issues that will promote more women representation and participation in governance. Director General of the Institute, Professor Suleiman Abubakar, made this known when he received the UN Women Country Representative in Nigeria and ECOWAS, Beatrice Eyong. The concern here is the decline in the number of women in elective positions from the outcome of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria. Director General of NEEDS notes that, though before the elections, the Institute, in collaboration with other agencies, had carried out advocacy for more women participation in politics, but the outcome of the elections leaves much to be desired. He, however, said there is hope working in partnership with donor agencies on scientific approaches rather than social, cultural, and religious values.
And that is why we are convening this conference. We're coming up with a study that will lead to a book project. And I've asked the committee, headed by a woman too in my department, in my institute, to link up with UN Women and other materials on how we can partner to get this thing done.
The UN Women Country Representative in Nigeria and ECOWAS is particularly interested in why the Gender Equality Bill in Nigeria failed and the possibility of fine-tuning it to give more women the opportunities.
We can work towards having a gender-responsive parliament. A gender-responsive parliament is a parliament where men and women are free to put their full potential at the disposal of their country so that we can forge ahead with our development.
The meeting further solicits practicable approaches to a more gender-sensitive environment in Parliament and inclusive rules for women in government. That's it on the news. Thank you for watching and do have a wonderful time.